Just before the Walt Disney Company earnings call on Tuesday, May 7th, a new poll was released from The Independent showing that Disney, far beyond any other Hollywood entertainment company, has a serious image problem, which should, of course, come as no surprise to anybody that's been watching this channel. Renegade Online. This is why this happened. Disney has an image problem, a new poll shows. This is from The Independent UK. This came out yesterday. Research commissioned by Puck Magazine. Puck is not exactly a conservative website. Whoa. That's Matt Bellany's website. Yeah, Puck Magazine. Disney's unfavorability rating, while low in absolute terms, was among the highest of 29 major American companies at 21%. Now, it gets funkier. Now, what do we always talk about with this? It's the demographic. What matters is who's actually paying Disney's bills, right? But this was largely driven by Republicans and independents, of whom 30% of Republicans and 20% of, or 26% of independents, respectively, said they had a negative opinion, not in the middle, just flat negative, a negative opinion of Disney. By contrast, only 8% of Democrats said the same. The negative polling comes after a series of... Can we just pause
for just for one moment, just for 1 second? I just want to say to the audience that while this is the correct direction of understanding Disney is unpopular right now, I just want everybody to know that very large firms have measured this in the past. Perhaps the biggest polling firm that has looked into this was the Axios Harris poll, and they found that it's dramatically worse. So I agree Rasmussen that Puck has found something. Yes. So I agree that Puck has found something. Polling is something that, you know, the questions that are asked matter. I like that they found that there's a problem here for Disney. I'm not sure that it's speaking to the extremity of what we've seen. And I think that we can see that at the box office repeatedly. And by the way, the trailer receptions of Mufasa and the Acolyte. So.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's, you look at this, Rasmussen has done it, Axios has done it. This was actually done by Quorom, I believe, on behalf of Puck. But it's, you know, look, this is the thing, and I have to dig into this poll a little bit more, but a lot of this has to do with Disney's dive into politics, obviously. They're saying that this month's poll by brand research firm found that Disney was nearly twice as disliked by the American public as any other Hollywood company. I'll repeat that.
Wow!
Disney was nearly twice as disliked by the American public as any other Hollywood company.
Where do I find this? Where is it?
This would be on Puck. I just pulled up the Independent article because it's in my Apple News feed.
Oh,
so see, this is what I'm talking about. I think that's accurate. I think I think they are. It probably is about a 2-to-1. What I think is underrepresented here is the dislike of all of Hollywood right now, and the other polling has found this. So I think it's a bit muted in terms of where the society is and their reflection on Hollywood, but in terms of percentages of company versus company, I think that's all correct. I just think the baseline number for dislike is a little low.
Yeah. Well, let me go further into this. And I like using this one because it's got the highlights here. By contrast, 43% said that they avoided movie theaters. This was the total polling. 43% say they avoided movie theaters because they are too expensive, while 5% said they did so for fear of catching COVID.
Wow, that is a much lower number for COVID anxiety than I thought.
Wait, read that again one more time, please.
But yeah, I was going to say, but there's a reason I'm saying this. By contrast, 43% of the respondents to this poll said they avoid movie theaters because they're too expensive. Let's focus on that for a minute. Now, let me read the paragraph above it. However, it found no evidence that this was leading anyone to avoid seeing films. The poll, excuse me, one paragraph up. The Quorum found that Disney was nearly twice as disliked, but it found no evidence that this was leading anyone to avoiding seeing its films. Among respondents who did not frequently go to the movies, only 0.3% said they were kept away by political ideology or wokeness. Now, let me explain something in political polling. Traditionally, and this has been shown in other data, people that tend to be on the conservative side of the aisle, they usually don't let on what's really going on out of fear of being mocked. frankly. This is why I don't believe this. When 43% say that they avoided movie theaters because they're too expensive, part of me can say, okay, there may be certain demographics that could be privy or germane to, but my problem is the very same audiences that Disney relies on that have instead given them failures, especially with the animated films, are going to see Super Mario Brothers. They're going to see Barbie. They're going to see Minions: Rise of Gru. They're going to see Despicable Me 4 this summer. Again, the same audiences here are going to see everybody else's movies. So this 43% are avoiding because it's too expensive. Okay, but they're still deciding to go to theaters. They may be more judicious with their choices in what they go see. And if that's the case, which it may well be, they are choosing everybody else but Disney. So then why?
You also just disproved the 0.3%. So let me explain why that is extremely misleading. But you just dissuaded folks of that being a real statistic. 0.3% said they were kept away by political ideology or wokeness. Now, if you read that, there's a way to read that and then interpret it to mean, oh, well, nobody cares about wokeness or political ideology. This whole thing about Disney, it's a total farce. These guys, these talking heads on YouTube are wrong. No. Wait a minute. It's not asking about Disney. It's talking about movie theaters. What did you just say? What were the movies you listed out? Minions, Mario. I'll go further. Top Gun Maverick, Godzilla -1. There are movies for people who hate the woke ideology, and they're still going to see them. And you just listed them out.
Yeah.
That's not stopping people from going to movies. It's stopping people from going to Disney movies.
That's it. And that's the ones I specifically listed, like Mario and Barbie and Despicable Me. I did that because I'm trying to the same, general to more kids geared audience demographic movies, right? So when you look at the failures that Disney has, but you want to start throwing in the Marvel stuff as well, apart from it just being sucky, and people have gotten out of it. That's the concern. One of the reasons that phases 1 through 3 obviously did so well with Marvel is because they were connected. People went to go see one after the other, and they stayed engaged. Now they've been disengaged. The bulk of the audience has been disengaged for 2 years. They've missed 27 different Disney Plus shows. They've missed 10, 12 different Marvel movies. They'll go see Deadpool because it's Deadpool and it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, but I don't think that guarantees them coming back almost a full year later to go see Captain Falcon and Who Gives a Flip.
But look, by the way, at the next paragraph in this, because immediately after this follows the misinterpretation of the statistics to further the Disney narrative that we all can look at the box office results and say, you're currently sitting at something like 0.5% market share of the box office this year, Disney. You had at least 3 of the biggest flops in the entire history of cinema last year. And this paragraph would suggest to us to say, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, the data suggests that there's a separation between the brand, being Disney, and the content, says the lead pollster. While conservatives give Disney higher unfavorables, it's not, quote, perceived wokeness that's keeping people from theaters. Again, with all due respect, I think you're wrong. I think you're missing something deeper in this data, because if you cannot make that statement in a vacuum without considering all the other movies we just listed that hit the same audience demographic as Disney's content, and they're doing fine. In fact, they're doing really well in many cases.
It's a false conflation. It's an easily seen false conflation. You ask a question about Disney, then you ask a question about theaters, then you conflate that Disney and theaters are the same, and voila, you say what you all see with your eyes and what's in the newspapers and what's on the YouTube channels, ignore it. Our polling found that conservatives aren't staying away from Disney movies. They're just failing and flopping for indeterminate reasons.
Exactly.
Well, hold on. What was the percentage on the COVID stuff? What did you say that was?
5%.
5%.
But I don't understand, guys. Bob has been telling me, guys, I got to push back on you conservative, racist, white cracker YouTubers and expose you.
I don't believe you unless you wear a mask right now, Mike. You got to have a mask to fool me on this one.
Bro, you're about to be exposed. So are you, YouTube Valiant. Hold on, I'm getting my hat on. I'm going to expose you all.
It's a red hat, Mike. You got to get a blue one.
Mike just ruined it by putting on a MAGA hat.
Doggone it. All right. Okay. See, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not good at this. All right. I'm exposing you because you guys, for the last 2 years, over 2 years, that's 8 earnings calls. Okay? Bob has told me that if the movies didn't go good, it was because of COVID. So, I don't know about the 5%. Wait. That would mean that Bob's lying. Wait, hold on. Okay, all right. You are now exposed for being right and truthful the whole time, and Bob is exposed as the liar. Bob is exposed.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.